Hello and thank you for taking time out of your busy lives to watch this very important video. This video sheds light on a topic that has all but faded away in the mainstream media. It is no longer taught in schools, and we are now approaching a time when government officials feel they can pass legislation and take it from the people by force and fraud. Political puppets working together with the owners of mass media networks believe that they can redefine or wipe out the idea of liberty. Our liberty is the very thing that makes us who we are and the very thing that we now take for granted. In the next few minutes I will explain to you this forgotten knowledge of liberty and what it means to have it. The philosophy of liberty is based on self-ownership. Some of you may ask, well, what does he mean self-ownership? Self-ownership in this context means you own your life. If you deny this, then you explicitly express that another person has a higher claim on your life than you do. The truth of the matter is no other person or groups of people own your life. Not your mother, not your father, or any persons from the government or society. Therefore, this also implies that you do not own the lives of others. You exist in time in three phases: future, present, and past. These phases are made manifest in life, liberty, and property. To lose your life is to lose your future. To lose your liberty is to lose your present. To lose the product of your life and liberty is to lose the portion of your past that produced it. The product of your life and your liberty is your property. Property is the fruit of your labor. The product of your time, energy, and talents. Property is that part of nature which you turn to valuable use. It is also the property of others that is given to you by voluntary exchange and mutual consent. On a side note, trading justly acquired property with other people by mutual consent is the driving force behind a capitalist society and the only form of economic liberty, where the people involved in the trading both benefit. If they didn't feel like they benefited from the trade, then there is no obligation for them to trade. Only the people involved can rightfully make the decision for themselves. At times some people use force or fraud to take from others without voluntary consent. The ramifications of force or fraud in this context make sense when spoken of with its relationship to a person's future, which is their life, their present, which is their liberty, and their past, which is their property. First, to take life is to murder and destroy a person's future. Second, to take liberty is to enslave people and destroy their present. Finally, to take property is theft and is the destruction of a person's past which produced that property. The initiation of force or fraud is the same whether these actions are done by one person acting alone, by the many acting against the few, or even by elected officials with fancy titles. You have the right to protect your own life, liberty, and justly acquired property from the forceful aggression of others. And you may ask others to help defend you. It therefore follows that you do not have a right to initiate force against the life, liberty, and the property of others. Nor do you have a right to designate some other person, official, or governments to initiate force against others on your behalf. As far as liberty is concerned with governments, you have the right to seek leaders for yourself, but you do not have a right to impose your elected leader onto others. It makes no difference how government officials are selected, whether by majority vote like a democracy, through birth like kings, or by force through military conquest. They are only human beings and they have no rights or claims that are higher than those of any other human beings. Regardless of all the imaginative labels for their behavior, or the numbers of people encouraging them, officials have no right to murder, to enslave, or to steal. You cannot give them any liberty or right that you do not have yourself. Since you own your life, you are responsible for your life. You do not rent your life from others who demand your obedience. Nor are you a slave to others who demand your sacrifice. A person is born with the freedom given to them by God to choose their own goals based on their own values. If God has given us this liberty, does it not follow that we, who are only His likeness and image, do the same to our fellow mankind? Success and failure are both necessary incentives to learn and to grow. Your action on behalf of others or their action on behalf of you is virtuous only when it is derived from voluntary, mutual consent, for virtue can exist only where there is free choice. This is the basis of a truly free society. It is not only the most practical and humanitarian foundation for human action, it is also the most ethical. Problems in the world that arise from the initiations of force by government have a solution. The solution is for the people of the earth to stop asking government officials to initiate force on their behalf. Evil does not arise only from evil people, but also from good people who tolerate the initiation of force as a means to their own ends. In this manner, good people have empowered evil people throughout history. Having confidence in a free society is to focus on the process of discovery and the marketplace of values, rather than to focus on some imposed vision or goal. Using governmental force to impose a vision on others is to cripple mankind's ability to reason and forces them into the worst position for anyone to be in. A position in which they can no longer think for themselves. Also, using governmental force typically results in unintended, perverse consequences. Achieving a free society requires courage to think, to talk and to act, especially when it is easier to do nothing.